Hi, I'm Bonnie Lynn Linke, and welcome to my studio, Stamping with Bonnie Lynn. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today, on this nice warm summer day, it's about 100 degrees outside, we are going to make a Christmas card, and I'm going to show you how to do it. And I live in the Northwest, so it does get hot in the Northwest. I live in Idaho. So this is the card we're going to make today. It uses the Christmas Lights stamp bundle, which is these stamps right here. And then if I open it up, you see the 14 dies that come with this bundle. And I'll show you some of the other items that we're going to use. There is a stamp missing out of that, you probably noticed. We are going to use the Lights Aglow Designer Series paper, which this paper is gorgeous. I've been chopping it and everything, and it's just so pretty. I love that. I like it all. I don't think there's a bad piece in here at all. And then the back side of this one is not that. It's that. So, and I almost used this one on this card here, but I decided not to. I know, either I do or I don't. Okay, and what else I used to make this card is the rectangle dies. I used this one right here, and this was to cut out the stamp Joy, and I used it going this way, as you can see, because I wanted it to look like a tree trunk down here. And then to cut the soft sway down there, I used what's new in this year's catalog, the deckled rectangular dies, and I used the second to smallest one. And I put it so it was hanging off the paper so I didn't waste paper. But being I was making more than one, I could have cut one and just cut it in half. That would have worked and will work if I make any more of these. My magnet boards and my plastic storage is from Stampin' Storage. I love their merchandise. I've been buying it for about 8 years. So, okay, and I think that's, oh no, I used also the Brightest Glow stamp sets. That's where I got the Joy from. And this is the inside saying I'm using, hoping your Christmas shines bright with the love of family and friends. And these are clean stamp set. And then, and it has a Merry Christmas, but it was too big for what I wanted. So I used my Merry Christmas out of the Hope and Peace stamp set. And these are all new in the 2022 July to December mini catalog. Otherwise, I call it the holiday catalog. And there's my inside. And I did stamp off and do a tree right here. Now, I could have, taped it off so the tree was shorter, but I wanted the whole tree to show. And this is done in very vanilla paper. I also did one, my first one I made, I did in the basic white. And you can see a difference between the two. And this is basic white also. Same paper otherwise, but I like the very vanilla. I decided to use the very vanilla after the fact, and I like it personally more. And my tree is heat embossed with the gold embossing powder. Okay, I'm gonna set that card up there, and we are gonna make one now. Now, I decided that I wanted to try the cherry cobbler to see what it looks like. So what you want to do is you want to score it at 3 inches and then 7 1/4. And then you want to hold this on your score lines and burnish it with your bone folder. then you want to add your designer series paper. And the measurements are all on my website. This is, I believe, 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. Get my take your pick tool. I've already put the tear and tape on the back. That's my adhesive of preference. Sometimes I'll use the seal too. I've never been very good at getting it to work right. And I know if you have the rubber mat next to you, you're supposed to rub it on there and then it will go like so on it and then it will work. But there has to be a better way to make that work than what I figured out. So if any of you have any tips for using the seal, I would sure like to hear them. And I know a lot of people use the liquid glue, but I make mistakes. I make too many mistakes. So you can't take the liquid glue, you can't undo it once it's on. So I don't tend to use it that much. Okay, I put this piece on, and then with about approximately 1/8 of an inch around all the edges. Now, my short one, I should have probably put it on first because it's easier to hold this one in place to line it up so that the edges are somewhat close to being even. I'm just trying to get this going. The take your pick tool is great for that. That still looks even, so okay, let's slide that down. And I had put 2 pieces of tape on here, so I'll now take off the other one. This tape is approximately 1/4 inch wide. Okay, then at this point, you would want to heat emboss your tree and then cut it out with one of the framelits. I've already done that. And I also already cut out my saying that goes on the front, the greeting. And I cut it out, and you can see the stitch rectangular there. I just stamped it close to the edge of the paper, so I didn't waste paper being I didn't want that. And then I have my tear and tape on the back side. So I'll take that off. And this is what I cut out with the deckled rectangles. Just stick that on there. Now, if I wanted to, I could cut off some of the top because I don't need all that, but I'm going to put this on with dimensional, so I don't really need to cut it off. I'll go ahead and take this tape off, the backing, and then I just want to center it on this piece of paper right here and put it down at the bottom. And to me, it just kind of made it look more like a tree trunk, that it belonged with the soft suede piece of paper back there. Now, on the first card I had made, the white one, I had cut the joy out with the stitch rectangle dies, but I had only cut the paper out with my paper trimmer. And then it was after I had made this card that I thought, oh, I should have used my deckled dies. I like them. Okay, now I kind of go crazy with dimensionals. I tend to go on the heavy side, and that is because I want to make sure that when they get to the cinder in the mill, that it's not all flattened. So I put them a little bit closer than what a lot of people do, and that's okay. That's just my preference. You'll find out what your own preference is, and that's what you'll do. And then I use some mini ones. And why I go from one size to the other, I don't have a good reason. Up there I did because it fit. Down here is because I just want to do that. So I'll move those out of the way. Bring in my little trash can here. My husband's the one who takes out the garbage in the house, which I really appreciate. And he even empties my little trash can for me. I don't have to make sure I keep it empty because I know he'll do it, which is really sweet. Terry's a great guy. Okay. There we go. Now I just want to center this on here. I want to make sure the top stays on the card and I'm not covering up the dot on the Joy. And that's over a little bit too far, so let me see, bring it down just like so. There we go. And then I had cut out a star with the twinkling dies from this set. It's from the Christmas light bundles. When you open this up and you look at their dies, you have the snowflakes. I think I'm going to do a Z fold card with that. I don't know yet. But right here is the die that I cut out, the star that I put up on the side. And these here will make little holes if you want to do it. It matches up with some of the designer series paper, but they'll make holes in your card so that if you should do like a shadow box or something out of it, out of this paper, you could do the dies on it for the little holes and then put some lights behind it. I think that would be beautiful. Right now I'm working on, in my mind, doing a shadow box out of the Christmas tree ones. It's where the dies are in the celebration catalog, free with, I believe it's $100 order. Let's see, and I'm just going to put that star right here. Perfect. And this is the Distress Gold specialty paper that is in the annual catalog, and it is still available. It's very pretty. So I always have something running through my head. Okay, and I'm going to take one of the large. This is the basic rhinestone jewels. I believe they are retired now. This is just some I had left over. But there are some opals that are out there that would work great too. I just happen to have these and wanted to do them. And you know, I was just trying to think of what I wanted to put on, because on this one I used the 2021 to 23 in color opal rounds. This is the Evening Evergreen, and that's the color cardstock I'm using, and they looked great in those snowbursts. And I forgot to get a different gem out for this card, so I'll just go ahead and add a few more of these rhinestones on. Let's see. I'll put one over here too. There we go. You know, actually, I think I'll take this one and put it right over here, maybe. Yeah. We'll see. Okay. So that is there. So that's the front of the card. It's just that simple to do. Now we need to do the inside. And this is very vanilla paper, because that's what I'm using in this one. So here's my Stamparatus. I wanted to show you how I did this inside. Okay, first I want to set this up so that it's going to stamp where I want it, even though I have to stamp off first. I want to make sure I get this right. And on my paper here, let's see, whoops, shouldn't have done that quite that way. This is just a piece of the work paper, the pads. I can't remember what it's called. And I just cut a 7 by 7 inch piece of it and put it in my Stamparatus. Okay, and let me do this and then make sure it's where I want it. The stars on there, that looks pretty even. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is grab a piece of scratch paper because, as I said, I'm going to stamp off. So I want to make sure I got it positioned right. I'm going to take my soft suede because I'm still going to use the soft suede for the tree color. Stamp it up good so that you make sure you have the whole thing inked. And I do rub it to make sure I get as much of the ink off as possible. And then I remove the scratch paper and I put this down right where I want it. There we go. Perfect. It's a little bit darker at the bottom, but that's fine because there's no lettering that's going to go down there. Now I'm going to clean off my stamp because I don't want to stick my hand in it, because I'm just going to leave this right in the Stamparatus while I stamp the other stamps. And I did not preset them up because there is another arm plastic lid to this where I could have set it here and stamped it, but I did not do that because I just prefer on this one to stick my head in the camera and block your view. No, I'm only kidding. Okay, this is the Evening Evergreen ink. Make sure you guys can see that okay. And this is the saying, hoping your Christmas shines bright with the love of family and friends, which I think is very appropriate for this card. Tap lightly and hope that you get it somewhat straight. I did. That's nice. Okay, and we'll close this up. And then I'll take my cherry cobbler. Okay, now on this one, I have found tap very lightly and do it a number of times because you don't want to get ink on the edges, because this one somehow I messed up a couple of them by doing that. Okay, and then center it where you want it. Merry Christmas. Isn't that beautiful? I just think that's so pretty. And if I wanted to, I could take this here is from the Twinkling Dice also. There's this piece right here. It gives you 3 different, they're kind of like snowflakes. And I had cut it out of gold. Oh, but this is just regular gold foil, and I don't want gold foil with the distress star on the front. So I'll probably recut that, but you can put that right there if you want to. So I'm going to hold off on putting that on. So this is all done. Isn't that pretty? So I cleaned the stamp, so I'll go ahead and close it. Move the Stamparatus. Oh, I just stuck my finger in the cherry cobbler. So let me wipe that off real quick with my chamois. As you can see, my chamois is well used. I cut it in half just because I like, something got all over this. just because I like having the smaller chamois to work with. But I do have a full-size one also in one of the plastic stamp cases. I went ahead and purchased some extra stamp cases to keep them in. Now, when you use tear and tape, everybody has a different way of doing it. I put it on the ends first and then on the sides. And I like to get it as close to the edges as possible because I don't like edges coming up unless I really mean for them to come up. So that's why I do that. Okay, and here's my card. And I just hold this in place as to where I want it. Then I use my take your pick tool to get the tape going, the backing off of it. And now by removing the top piece first, it's in place, so I don't have to worry about it sliding. And this way, if I get it really super crooked or something, I only have the one piece of tape to be concerned about getting off. There we go. All right. Now, on the back, I want to use my limited edition stamp set. And I'm going to do Made with Love. Or how about One of a Kind Creation? Let's do that one today. So, grab one of my clear blocks here. Now, if these were the photopolymer, you would want to use the Stampin' Pad underneath. But being these are not, they're padded stamps, you're fine. Just putting the paper right directly on a hard surface. Tap, tap, tap. Try to get this straight and in the center. And there we go. If you want to, you can sign your name underneath to show who made it. Okay, and now we have the envelope. So I thought for the envelope, what I would do is, and I haven't tried this yet, so I have no idea how it's going to look. But let's go ahead and put this down. And remember right now, Celebration is, I need to lift this forward some. Celebration is going on. So with a $50 merchandise order, you get to pick something from the Celebration catalog, and there's some cute hippos in there. There's paper in there, all sorts of really cool items. And that goes on through August. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would really love it if you would use me as your demonstrator. If you go to my webpage, stampingwithbonnielynn.com, you will find, and that's all one big long word, and Bonnie is an IE. You will find on the right-hand side of my page a link with the catalogs, and it will take you, shop online will take you right to my store so you can shop. And there is a code on there, and I change it every month. And if you use that code and order $50 worth of merchandise, I'll send you some free dimensionals. All right, there we go. We got the tree on there. And if these are some old envelopes because they're at the point. But if you have the ones with the square back, you could even do it with this. You could put designer series paper on the envelope flap and make it look more pretty. But I thought the tree would look pretty there too, so that's good. And that, so here we have our card today. It is the Christmas Lights stamp bundle along with the dies. And we did, the saying is from, I got short-term memory loss. The saying is from the Brightest Glow stamp set and the Hope and Peace stamp set. And this is a little bit of a fun fold because it does open in the middle here, and it will set up just like so when you send it to somebody. You have a beautiful Christmas card, and it's just that easy to make, and it would be easy to make a number of them. Thank you so much for joining me today, and if you need me at all, just email me and I'll get back to you, and I look forward to seeing you next week, hopefully with a new video. Bye, and have fun. Happy stamping.